Hello students, this is a video lecture on Stopping by Words on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost. Before we look into the poem, let us know about the author. Robert Frost was born on 26 May 1874 at California. He died on 29 January 1963 at Boston, US. He was highly regarded for his realistic description of rural life. He was an American poet. If you see, initially his works were being published in the United States. And to talk about his poetry was famous for his simplicity of language and a graceful style. Jawaharlal Nehru was fond of this particular poem and had the following lines on his table: "But I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep." And to talk about his famous work, some of them are The Road Not Taken, Home, Burial, A Boy's Will, and North of Boston. These are some of his famous poems. To talk about the setting of this poem was written in June 1922 and was being published in the year 1923 in a volume called New Hampshire. And this poem is considered to be a dramatic monologue. Dramatic monologue is a poem which has been written in a form of speech of an individual character is called as dramatic monologue. Moving on to the poem, stanza 1. Whose words these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though he will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. Woods here represents the forest. The forest has been covered with the snow, and literally the author wants to view the beauty of the nature. The forest, the entire forest has been covered with the snow, and as shown in this picture, the author literally wants the forest to admire the beauty of the forest, and he knows that the owner of this particular forest will be somewhere near at the village, and the owner will not recognize him standing here, and literally he wants to view the beauty of the nature. He's generally a person who views the nature, and he wants to admire the beauty of the nature as shown in the picture. Stanza 2. My little horse must think and queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. My horse. If you see this stanza, tells about the horse. The horse must think in queer. Queer means an unusual or strange feeling. The horse must be in a confused state whether we are in a right route, and there is no farmhouse near. The horse must literally having a strange feeling because there is no farmhouse near and there is no purpose standing in front. And why do the author feel literally to stand in between the forest, between the woods and a frozen lake? And here the timeline given is the darkest evening of the year. Here literally maybe in the evening the author would have traveled and he would have stand by in order to see the beautiful woods which is being covered with snow. Moving on to the stanza 3. He gives his harmless bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the weep of easy wind and downy flake. Here if you see, he represents the horse. The horse is now giving a harmless bells. Harmless bells means, if you see on the right hand side image, a belt is being given, right? If you see the horses will be hanging these kind of bells in his neck. And what does this horse do is, this horse wants to give an alert sound to the author. Why are we standing here? If there is any purpose, or if the route is wrong, should we divert ourselves? Like that, the horse is in queer state, and it wishes the author to give an alert sound so that they can move further. And the only sound that they can hear is the wind sound and downy flake. Downy flake here means the soft small pieces of snow which has been falling from the sky is literally called as downy flake. And moving on to the last stanza, stanza 4. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. Here if you see, the most important lines, the repetitive lines are being represented here. The woods are lovely, dark and deep. Here woods again represents the forest. The woods are literally lovely in order to view the beauty. The woods are literally lovely, dark and deep, and he here suggests that he has many responsibilities to do in his life, and he wishes that No one should be distracted in life and keep moving on with our own responsibilities. And if we are distracted in between, we cannot move further. Before I die, before sleep here represents the death. Before death approaches me, I have my own responsibilities to be fulfilled, and I should be fulfilling my own responsibilities. So I have my promises to keep. Here means I have my own responsibilities to be maintained, and and miles to go before I sleep. Here literally means before the death approaches me, I have to proceed with my own responsibilities. To talk about the style, this poem is written in iambic tetrameter in Rubaiyat stanza. The rhyming scheme of this poem is AABA, BBCB, CCDC, DDDD. To talk about the literary devices, here personification is used. Personification means human characteristics or attribute is being given to a non-human thing is called as personification, as shown over here. Imagery is being used. Imagery generally represents the five senses. Five senses: sight, sound, smell, touch, taste. These are all the five senses. And here, if you see in this poem, the author has used the sense of sight. The alliteration is being used. Alliteration is the repetition of the consonant sound is called as alliteration, and the repetition is being used. Repetition, the last two lines, and miles to go before I sleep and miles to go before I sleep, is a repetition of this poem. Thank you.